Hi, it's Imani Rose here, broadcasting live from the National Black Book Festival here in Houston, Texas at our Doubletree Hotel. We're here discussing The Faces I've Seen by Ted Johnson, a memoir of murder.
The book is going to be a huge success. But as far as the book, it's a must-read, it's an easy read, and it puts the total criminal practice into perspective. And it sheds light on the day-to-day practice of a criminal defense attorney. So, like I said, as far as the book, it's a must-read. Pick it up, buy it, read it, and enjoy it.
I think the book has great cinematic appeal. I mean, you could definitely read the stories and see them played out on the big screen, and you're anxious to see what's going to happen with these characters. I mean, you kind of forget that it's a memoir, you know what I mean? You kind of forget that it's a memoir and that it's not just a story. You want to know what's going to happen and what's going to happen to this attorney. And for him to put his heart into these stories, and for the first time you get to see what an attorney actually goes through when he defends criminals and murderers, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that most people even think about that. They often associate the attorney with the criminal, you know, like how could he defend that person? Why would he do that? But what does that attorney really go through when they're defending that person? Maybe they don't want to, but they understand that they deserve some type of defense under the law.
Okay, the story that I read that really just blew my mind away was Everyday People, and it's just about this character. His name is Mr. George, and it's about Mr. George and just how badly he treats his wife, and how Teddy speaks about how he kind of, you know, representing this man but befriending this man, and how this man in some weird way, I think he said, maybe looked at him like as a father figure or something. But that whole story just kind of, it was real interesting. So yeah.
It's a very interesting read. You know, it's very gripping. You know, as a younger reader, I feel like it's something that you know, I feel like younger people can learn from. You know, really show them the right path to take, and learn from the pitfalls that some of these people in the stories have fallen into.
Everybody that sees this book will want to read it. I mean, it is very intense, very emotional. It draws you in. I mean, I'm glad he had the courage and the willingness to share.
Oh, well, this book can touch all classes and ages. And the language in there is kind of, you know, right to the point. But I think if he sugar-coated the language, it wouldn't be as powerful as it is, you know. You have to talk about it like the street. It happened in the street. It was crude and rude, but that's the way life was. And he had to tell you exactly the way he grew up and the way these cases were, because if he tried to make it look good, then you wouldn't get the impact of it.
From what Ted Johnson has done with this book, it has many faces, and in not only districts in the Southwest, but districts all over the country could benefit from it, because there are many faces in the school district. And we have students that have come from very different backgrounds, and it's quite challenging for kids today. And I feel that by reading this book, and with the background that Mr. Johnson is an attorney, and looking at what students are doing today in their world and their environment, they have taken some wrong turns. They've gone down the road of disparity. But one thing about it is that their life can be turned around. And I think that by reading Mr. Johnson's book, it would give them a heads up on how not to take those wrong turns, how to turn their lives around.
But this is like firsthand. You know, this wasn't scripted. It wasn't you know, it was for real. And like I said, the most of it is like the way he parallels it to his own life, incidents in his own life. That was the most intriguing, you know, really, yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cherie Campbell. It's Imani Rose, National Black Book Festival, Ted Johnson, The Faces I've Seen, a memoir of murder.
That's with the youth's fascination with crime and murder, you know, with other shows like Law & Order and The First 48. The book is just a more intimate look at that, and what I like about the book is that it shows the back history it doesn't just show you the criminal and, oh, this person killed someone. It shows you that they're actually circumstances and sometimes victims of circumstances. They're human beings that made a wrong turn, and I like that it shows their history, their situation, instead of just showing you, okay, instead of going backwards, it pretty much goes forward and leads you on and shows you their character and where they came from. And I think that readers and viewers soon will really like that and like the take that Ted did on this book. I think that people will definitely be enlightened by reading the book, get a different perspective on what criminal attorneys go through, and also be entertained. It's raw, it's very raw, gritty, but you also get a better understanding of what attorneys go through.
I'm very proud to be speaking with the author of The Faces I've Seen, a memoir of murder, Mr. Ted Johnson. If you don't mind, could you please share with us a little bit about your actual journey and experiences writing the novel? I know that writing a book is sort of a very deeply personal and private experience. How did you translate your life, you know, working as an attorney into being a writer and kind of encapsulating yourself to make that book happen?
Very, very good question. It was very, very difficult. Very personal, as you mentioned in your question. A lot of soul searching, but once I got into the process of journaling, writing about these cases, the effect these cases had on me, the impact these cases had on me, it became a form of therapy for me. And after writing so many stories, friends, a collection of friends, it's like, hey, Ted, these stories should be shared. These stories could help people understand themselves better, you know, and because as a writer, you're always trying to figure out if your stuff is relevant, number one. You know, is it relevant for people to want to know about? Can something be learned from it? Can you laugh at it? I mean, what are the ingredients of it that would make it worthwhile to even read? And I think you'll find that in my stories because it's about the human experience and how the human experience can take you on a roller coaster ride. Faces I've Seen really focuses on me, the criminal defense attorney, and the client, the person who's accused of murder. And in a left-handed sort of way, Faces I've Seen humanizes the defendant. It humanizes how people, sometimes good people get caught up in bad situations, how sometimes good people do bad things, and how at the root of a lot of this stuff, how when one becomes emotionally imbalanced, how crazy stuff can happen a la murder. On one hand, you hate when anybody is murdered, just from a human point of view, humanistic point of view. But when you represent someone, it's a matter of months that you get to learn this person. And somehow, in short of being friends, this person becomes someone that you have some sort of attachment to. And so with that in mind, I found myself having to reach really, really deep into bringing the best and being the best that I could be in representing this person. And always, always, I try to find something about the person that I liked or respect, because that makes it easier in terms of giving your best effort. Even though you think that you're a professional, you're still a human, right? And you look for those human things to attach yourself to make you more effective.
In an era where we have a huge quantity of law and medicine cases out right now in primetime television, why the need for The Faces I've Seen? How will this show be different?
Well, I think the show will be different from the perspective of the people telling the story. Even though the issues of homicide, murder, jealousy, rage, addiction, drugs is a universal problem, the people telling the story sometimes make the story. And coming from this perspective, I think it would be interesting television. I like to think that I represented people and people contained in the book are from all walks of life, socioeconomic backgrounds. So you don't have the proverbial poor black people story. You have blacks who were from middle class backgrounds, blacks who were from upper class backgrounds, in addition to the poor and the street level crime. So in terms of the whole gamut of people, the whole gamut of economic status of the people involved. I think people could learn a lot and enjoy the perspective of which our story will be told.
It's Imani Rose here, National Black Book Festival. The Faces I Have Seen, a memoir on murder by Ted Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, Amazon.com, you, there, now, purchasing this book, rating the material. Take it, enjoy it, have it at your book club, have it in the comfort of your own home, but make sure that you have this material in your life. The Faces I Have Seen, a memoir on murder by attorney Ted Johnson.